We talk about them all the time. We love them and we hate them. Mostly we hate them. But what exactly makes a carrier a mega carrier? Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers. I'm Mark, your mega host. There's so many carriers in the United States, but what makes a carrier a true mega carrier? Is it size? Well, size does matter, but that's not the only thing that makes a carrier a mega carrier, although I do think it's probably hard to be a mega carrier if you have 5 trucks. All right, so larger carriers are going to be included in this, but that can be carriers with just a few hundred trucks, I think. I think it's more of a mindset. A mindset. There's the mega carrier mindset, MCM. That's what we like to call it in the biz, the mega carrier mindset. I don't know what I'm talking about. Mega carrier mindset. And there's a few things that go along with this. The more of these things that your carrier does, the more likely it is that they are an actual mega carrier, whether they know it or not, or they're, like perceived to be that or not in the industry. So let's go over these things. I think mega carriers primarily get their new drivers from students or truck schools, or they train their own, they grow their own drivers basically. Now that doesn't mean if your carrier trains people that they're a mega carrier, but is the main flow of new drivers to your company students and people from truck school? Because last year, right, when there was issues in the United States and many truck schools were not open, mega carriers were like, holy crap, nobody's coming to work for us. So because that's where they're getting their new people, their vast majority of their new people, students and new drivers. And they have this huge churn. Turnover is another thing, a huge turnover, because these new people, once they get in the industry and they go, yikes, look where I am, they immediately leave. And so they get this huge churn and turnover at these carriers. That's a good indication that you're at a mega carrier. So if you're a carrier that, say, sues other companies because they're poaching your drivers because you're so horrible that you can't keep them, you might be a mega carrier. This may only apply to certain places though. How does your carrier get you to them for orientation and to get your truck and stuff? Well, guess what? If you're standing downtown at the bus station, all right, waiting for a ride, maybe across the country for a 3-day, $39 bus trip, all right, you may have been calling a mega carrier for your job. A place needs to treat a driver like a professional, like they say that they do. Oh, drivers are professionals. Well, professionals do not take the bus. Do you see the CEOs of any of these large places at the bus station when they need to go somewhere? No. Bus, out of the question. They need to either provide you a limousine, which would be the best, okay, a rental car, fly you to orientation, something like that, even Amtrak, right? Because America's getting into training the Amtrak way. These would be an acceptable way. The bus is not an acceptable way to get you to orientation. That's a mega carrier way to do it. The cheapest way to do it without any thought of the driver at all. Just the cheapest way. Why? Because they churn through so many people. So they can only do, $29.95 or whatever per person, because for every 1,000 trucks, they have to hire 3,000 people, that kind of thing. Fuel routing, all right? How are you routed on your fuel? A lot of mega carriers use what's called fuel routing. And what they do, they'll say fuel at this particular truck stop. And some of them, by the way, even say, and get 48 gallons or get 72 gallons, an exact amount of fuel. But that's even worse. But saying this particular stop, that's total mega carrier. The next worst way is saying, okay, only use Flying J or whatever, but at least you get to choose all the truck stops in the country like that. That's better. And then the best way would be fill up anywhere you want. We don't give you a route. We don't care where you fill up. That would be the best way. So that's where it is. Where are you on that chart of how you fuel? For mileage drivers, how are you paid? All right. So the worst way would be household goods miles. All right. There's not that many places doing that, but that's worse. That's a mega carrier staple right there. Then practical miles, that's better. Best way, of course, hub miles. All right. Pay you for the miles you actually drive. Hub miles. Okay. You don't see mega carriers paying hub miles. So that's where are you on that list, right? Are you closer to mega or not? That's how we can tell that. The other side of that, when you're not getting mileage, is waiting time. So for detention, for instance, some places don't pay it at all. That's awesome. Hey, welcome to mega carrier land. Some will say, okay, after 4 hours you get, say, $13 an hour, $14 an hour. That's horrible too. Why is there any time that you don't get paid? Then some are 2 hours, some are 90 minutes, some are 1 hour, and then some are immediate. So the closer you are to getting paid for your time, the more like a professional you're being treated, because you're being compensated for the time that you're giving to the carrier. I personally don't think there should be any time you're not paid, but that's how it is for some people in the industry. This no paid and all that, forget that. That's mega carrier land. And another one is sign-on bonuses. So even though I see these at a lot of places, mega carriers have done this for years. Sign-on bonuses in the 5 digits. I've seen mid 5 digits, $30,000, $40,000 sign-on bonuses. Cray cray, that's what the kids say. That's a huge bonus to sign on. And they have to do that because there's no other way to entice anybody to come over there. They can't entice people with, they're a decent place to work or whatever. They have to throw these huge sign-on bonuses. A lot of companies, they'll have 150, 200% turnover. And then there's other companies that have a waiting list. Well, isn't that curious? Which one do you think you should go for? This huge sign-on bonus, or a company that doesn't give a sign-on bonus but has a waiting list possibly to go there? Or they have very few trucks available, right? You have to get in at the right time. There's a reason for that. There's a reason, and it's treatment. It's treatment. You notice none of these really have gone into actual mileage pay or whatever, you pay per mile, because that's not the mega carrier thing. Yeah, they're usually lower end of it, but the problem always is that you're being treated so poorly that people leave. The whole industry is all right now, let's raise pay, let's raise pay. That's not the problem. That's not the problem. When you talk to drivers that leave, and they write me all the time, right? Very rarely is that I'm leaving because I'm not making enough money. It's always they're being treated in some kind of way. They didn't get home, or they're being, yelled at by their dispatch or something. That's always the problem, and that's what the industry refuses to fix. And that's a mega carrier thing as well. They're already treating you poorly. What happens is people finally realize it. And so then they skedaddle. All right. That's also something that the kids say today. So if you don't want to be the mayor of, mega carrier land, you need to look at this kind of stuff and decide, are you at a mega carrier? And if you are, I would say right now is a good time to go look around. Start checking around for maybe a better place where you're treated like the professional that you should be. That's my thoughts on mega carrier. Let me know what you think, and we'll be back soon with another Trucking Answers.